Trade deadline can always be a fun time. I feel like trades in any sport, they give you rejuvenation. You feel like, all right, we're back in this. We're rolling. Here we go. And I think it's interesting when you look at the Cleveland Browns. There's been so much brought up about positions that they're looking for or adding to this team. And usually when you're making trades, it's your team is destitute and you're trying to find that magical player that'll put you over the edge and you have future and all that. Or you're a good team and you're adding that one last little piece to put you over the hump to get you where you need to go. And we've dealt with both sides of it and really of having the assets too. When you're a good team, it's usually you don't have a lot of draft picks. You use those on good players, or you use them to go win your Super Bowl. Go see the LA Rams and see where they're at right now dealing with that. Well, you won a Super Bowl for them, so it all kind of works out. The Browns are in a different position today as we get closer to that 4 o'clock trade deadline. And I just got to tell you, again, I wake up this morning and I say, I don't see it. I don't see a trade. Doesn't mean that there won't be one, but do you want them to make a trade? Not do you think that they will, but as you as a fan, do you want them to go make a trade today? We'll talk about all of it right here on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Ryan Tyler. Happy Halloween to all. I would say all that celebrate, but I feel like a lot of people celebrate Halloween. There's people that don't like it. Ryan, I understand it, I guess. I get it. I don't know.
Honestly, Matt, until you just brought it up, I forgot it was even Halloween.
You forgot today was Halloween?
This has been the least Halloween-y Halloween, if that's a way of describing it.
Sure, I guess if you want. Is it because it's on a Tuesday?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, it's one of those holidays that I think, we get it. It's on the 31st. I wish Halloween was always on a Friday. It would always be best if it was on a Friday, but it's on a Tuesday. I wore the beautiful Big Play werewolf t-shirt this morning. No, I don't. So my wife and I used to always do combo, costumes. When is Mario and Luigi? Do you watch Orange is the New Black?
Yes.
I went as Mendez, porn stash one year.
I would love to see that.
You want to see it? Come over here. Come here. Come here. I don't think I'm going to turn the camera. It's popped up on my Facebook feed.
Oh my God.
Isn't that good? Didn't we pull it off pretty good?
Pull it off really well.
I don't know how I can show it on the screen, but yes. Oh man, that was 8 years ago. So 26. Oh,
that's got to be posted on Twitter later.
Yeah, well, we'll probably get that. So yeah, my wife and I, we loved that show. So she dressed up as Chapman from Orange is the New Black, and I went as George Pornstash Mendez, the guard. Because so I'm in an interesting part because I usually always do a mustache for No Shave November. My uncle is a prostate cancer survivor. It's obviously very important, but I always would like to mix it into the Halloween. So I went as Pornstash one year, and then we would go as Mario and Luigi, and that was perfect because I would just shave the mustache, and then I would have it for November. Our son is really into Paw Patrol. For the parents out there, you know about Paw Patrol. So we got him the costume. So really nothing for us fit. Plus we got the baby. So this year, it's very unfortunate. As a Fontana household, we take Halloween very serious. I carved a nice Jack Skellington pumpkin for my son. Happy about that. So we take it pretty serious. But yeah, Tuesday throws a little kind of wrench into it. So it's a little hard. Dropped my son off at school today. Everybody was all dressed up. So very happy Halloween. Hopefully everybody out there in the office, get a bunch of Reese's pumpkins and all that kind of stuff. So enjoy your Halloween. Good morning to all. Happy to have you alongside. We got a lot to get to as we get up towards the trade deadline. We've had a lot of quarterback. And I don't want to say change, but there's discussion on the Brown side for quarterback this weekend. And now Arizona pulling a fast one here. It will not be Josh Dobbs this weekend. It's either going to be Clayton Tune or they get Kyler Murray back. We'll discuss that a little bit later. Tonight, college football rankings come out for the first time. The college football playoff poll comes out. And I think there's a big question surrounding that. I loved an article this morning on ESPN from Heather Dinich, and she did 7 questions facing the committee tonight. And one of them surrounds Michigan. And should their allegations impact their playoff ranking? We'll get to Time Hop, 2 for Tuesday. We got a bracket, morning update, and of course, Cavs are in action tonight, so we'll place our wagers with Tipico a little bit later in the show. Use that code BIGPLAY150. Get signed up with our friends at Tipico. So we start with our 2 for Tuesday, and we always do 2 questions, 2 answers. And the first one, do you want the Browns to make a trade today? Do you want them to go out there and make it? And we asked this question as a fan, and I'm asking the fans out there because you're not Andrew Berry. Or maybe you are. Maybe Andrew's watching. I would hope he'd be burning the phones up. But maybe he starts this morning with the Matt Fontana show here on Big Play, as you really should every day. So, if Andrew's watching out there, good morning, AB. How are you doing? I always got an open seat. Love to talk to you. But, I think about the fans and what you want the Browns to do. Because we've heard what are the two positions, running back and wide receiver? And I think it's relative when you hear that they're interested or they're inquiring. Yeah, they probably talked to some teams. My question is, did the Browns enter this weekend and really specifically wake up this morning saying, we have to do something? We have got to go make a trade today to improve this team, to add to a position, or even sometimes change a little of the culture. And I guess culture is the wrong word, but sometimes when you make a trade, you kind of reinvigorate that locker room. Right? Seattle, what did they do? They went and traded for Leonard Williams. I'm assuming the Seahawks are waking up this morning feeling really good. Well, I don't know about waking up at 6 o'clock out there on the West Coast, but still, they feel real good about that trade. And you feel like that's the piece to push you over the limit. There are other teams that will be trading away pieces that will be, we don't have a future or we're kind of destitute. We're kind of moving on. Did you see this Jameis Winston thing? Is that true to Minnesota?
I don't know if it's true, but I think it is, but I would love to see it. I know he wants the opportunity to start.
Well, I mean, he's one of the better backups that you can find, in the NFL. So I don't know, somebody tweeted, I that's what I get for shooting from the hip here. I just saw somebody tweet. Because then Sports Illustrated tweeted why the Saints won't or shouldn't trade Jameis Winston. Yeah, are you all bought in on Derek Carr? I mean, you really have to be bought in on Derek Carr. But the Vikings, right, they're in such a pickle because, sorry, I don't think you're starting Nick Mullins or Sean Mannion up there. That's just not happening for them. So that's the other situation you find yourself in. And I don't feel the vibe from the Browns that they have to go make a move. So then why would you? To make a move for the sake of making a move? If there's a move out there where you unload a player to pick up a draft pick, Browns need those in the future. GM's always kind of, it's not always this monumental, massive type of trade, but I really am having a hard time connecting the dots to see where a trade makes sense for the Browns. So then I go to our Twitter question of, do you want them to make a trade? And no, I don't. And it comes to a bigger question and a discussion we can even have this morning. The health of the Browns roster. And maybe health's the wrong word, knowing that Deshaun Watson, his situation, whatever. But the state of the Browns roster. Would you say that on paper, Ryan, they are a top 10 roster? And we're not going to sit here and break down every single roster, but I would think the majority of people would say Miami's a damn good roster. San Francisco's built pretty well. But it's even funny because, like, Kansas City, they're really good, but, like, is their roster extremely built? There's a case to be made that Philly has the best roster in all of football. They have the best offense and defensive line combo.
Yeah, they do, especially after that trade.
It's insane, is it not, right? Like, they have built that defense up. They have built that team up. And deservingly so. They are the best team in football record-wise, and they're favored to go win the Super Bowl, sure. But I would think the Browns roster, it's up there. Even in the division, right? There's a case to be made that on paper that we have the best roster, even better than Baltimore and Cincinnati. Now, some positions, sure, Cincinnati's got the best receiving, or should, well, I don't know about anymore. Hasn't that fallen off, by the way? They got the best receiving core in football? That's not the case anymore. You got Jamar Chase, that's about it. I know T. Higgins is injured. They're trying to trade him away, all that. But even them has kind of fallen off, okay? Defensively, well, there's another debate to be had about how this Browns defense has looked over the past couple weeks, and people are stopping to use that historic word anymore, and they're not quite what they were. But you still have a generational pass rusher. You still got some good DBs. So I'm not trying to sit here and make the case the Browns are even a top 5 roster. But I think they fall in that 5 to 12 range. So I assume most people would agree with me on that. If you are a top third of the league type of roster, then you make additions, not subtractions. You make moves to bring in that one extra little piece that you need. See the Kevin Byard trade. See the Leonard Williams trade. And I just question what that would be. Realistically. Sure, you want to go trade for T. Higgins, I'd take him. Good receiver. You're not going to get that done. And when you factor in the amount of picks that you don't have, the salary cap space that you have now, but we know where that needs to be allocated. You want to know why I have the long pause there, Ryan?
Why is that?
Because if you need to get out of this Deshaun Watson contract sooner than you thought, you're going to need every penny to try to get that done. Don't forget that.
I'll donate him $1.
It'll do a lot. It really will. Do you want to know a question that just popped into my head?
Huh?
If you were to donate money to the Browns, and people are screaming, going, I donate every Sunday. I pay for season tickets. I bought that $15 beer. I paid for parking. I know there's plenty of donations to be had. Would you rather donate it towards getting out of the Deshaun Watson contract or the new stadium?
I would feel better doing the new stadium just because I do not want to give a single penny of mine personally towards Deshaun.
Fair enough. That's fair. I don't know why that, because think about the Browns and then their allocation of cash, and it's not all the same because it's salary cap. Like, you have to spend that money, but don't make no mistake that the Haslam's are still cutting checks.
Yeah.
And say what you want about them. Part of the reason where the Browns are at, they restructure a lot of these deals. That involves cash up front, which is one of the best statements in the world. Cash up front. They got to pay these guys money now. And some of the owners that don't have that liquid cash, they can't do that. So give credit to the Haslams where it's due. They're using this money smartly. Andrew Berry is applying it in the right places, and you've built this nest egg. But that's another part when we talk about trades. Are you going to pick up some guy on some horrible contract just to get him in, to bring him in? I don't see it. I don't see it. And as we approach the deadline, as we're now, 7 hours away from it, coming up at 4 o'clock, I don't see a path. And it doesn't mean that Andrew Berry can't come in with the machete and just chop a path, through this jungle, so to speak, and say, I'm going to create a path and we're going to go make a move. But right now, I don't see it. There's no way that I see the Browns making a move of substance. Okay, you want to let go of a guy for a 5th round? I can't even think of who. I don't know. I mean, who on this team is expendable right now? Think about it. Like, I'm trying to run through.
I mean,
and let's start
DPJ,
offensively,
yeah.
okay? Offensively, you need all your quarterbacks.
Yep.
You don't have a running back. Does anybody really want Jordan Akins?
No.
Somebody calls for Harrison Bryant, maybe. Okay, fine. There's maybe one guy.
I would see, Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Well, then that comes back to if the Browns are really looking for a receiver.
No,
yeah. But that's my thing, Ryan. My solution to that problem is just start throwing the football at Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Yeah. By no means is that me saying, I want to get him out of
No,
town.
no, I know.
Yeah.
But that's the other part of this. You can make a trade by just throwing the football to the guy that's already here.
Yeah.
And people, okay, is he getting open? The Donovan Peoples-Jones saga, which Kevin Stefanski was asked about it yesterday. I don't want to pull the quote up here from Coach. My belief is as simple as this, is that you have a backup quarterback in there. He's not able to distribute the football. You know what I mean? Like, it's just as simple as he's in there. Who are you going to throw it to? David Njoku and Amari Cooper. If anybody else gets the football, fine. But this isn't Peyton Manning out there that can have 3,000-yard receivers. This isn't a guy that can easily distribute the football. So you tried to simplify things. So Donovan Peoples-Jones has found himself on the outside. Here's the question to Coach yesterday. What about Donovan Peoples? This is the question. What about Donovan Peoples-Jones? It seems he's kind of disappeared this season after a lot of catches last year. Coach, quote, yeah, nothing. He continues to be dependable for us. Ball sometimes finds their way to other guys. I know Amari obviously had a bunch of targets in that game, but that's all that it is. End quote from Coach. Yeah, that's what I read into that. The ball is just not finding his way there. So to go at a receiver that might be better than Donovan, because that's relative too. Can you find a better receiver than Donovan Peoples-Jones realistically in the trade market?
No.
I don't think so. I'm with you.
Yeah, because you could sit here and say the Devontae Adams of the world who are frustrated, or the T. Higgins, or the
I bet
whoever.
He's good and pissed off this morning.
Yeah,
Devontae Adams,
my fantasy team. Anyway, but no, it's not realistic, and it's a fun thing to think about. But realistically, we have a bigger problem at hand, and then maybe there's no quick solution, and that's our problem. But
I would tell you this:
the world we live in.
I could see more of Donovan Peoples-Jones being traded away. Like, in that world, which I don't want to happen. I'm with you. I like Donovan Peoples-Jones a lot, and I think there's a world to pull a positive out of this is that his number for his free agency has gone down now, and maybe you can re-sign it. Don't forget my conspiracy theory on that, Ryan. It would not be the first time that a guy in a contract year all of a sudden didn't start getting the football.
Wait, I think this is the right hotkey.
Yeah.
That's for your conspiracy corner.
The conspiracy corner here. Yeah, that even rhymes a little bit. I like that new segment here. We can do everything that you want.
I'll get the graphics rolling.
And we get tweets about the vaccine and AI. Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. But if anything, and I don't see that happening either. I think more, if I had to pick one, if you tied me down to our desk here at Big Play, right next to this beautiful garage beer.
Wrong way.
Sorry. Camera left, Ryan, left. Stage front. Oh, look at these coasters. Look at these nice Big Play coasters. Why do I not have these in my house?
We got it all here.
Yeah, we do. Can we buy these on the website? I know what you can buy on the website is this beautiful, awesome werewolf t-shirt that I like. Anyway. Sorry. Side back. I think it's if you tied me down to the desk and you said the Browns were going to make a trade today, then I would tell you I think it's more likely that they dump off a player than acquire a player. And I don't know who that player is. Back to our roster breakdown of expendables, right? Okay, yeah, Harrison Bryant, maybe Donovan Peoples-Jones. I don't see them trading Elijah Moore. You haven't seen anything with Marquise Goodwin. That's defensively. What? Now Zadarius Smith had to go get x-rays. We'll find out about him tomorrow. There's nobody on that defensive line. You just drafted Ika, which why he's still inactive is another mystery to me. But anyway, Tomlinson you paid. He's not going anywhere. Mo Hurst is playing fine. Linebackers, you can't really afford to get rid of any. And now you're down Greg Newsome. There's nobody in the secondary. Well, I don't want to say it. Never mind. What if somebody called about Grant Delpit? He entered my mind because he's in the last year of his deal, and he is balling out right now. And if the Browns believe that he has now priced himself out of their range because they're not going to be able to re-sign him, you have Rodney McLeod, you have Juan Thornhill, you could maybe make the case to trade him. And I think at best you're getting a 2, which is where you drafted him. And I think that would be a trade, Ryan, that would not sit well.
No, it wouldn't. And
that would not sit well.
No, because it's like
that's waving. That's honestly waving a white flag, but it's like you're trading away one of your best players, and that's just me. I'm just running through players on this team, and that's my thing. So then, if no players are expendable right now, then you talk about draft picks. Well, we don't have any of those either. And in a world where if you're going to be constrained on the cap, you would want a lot of cheap rookie contracts and you need as many picks as you can get. I think the Browns are in a bind. I think they're in a bind. So I don't see a way that they're going to be able to make a trade today. That's going to be our first 2 for Tuesday. It's up at Matt Fontana Show. We're asking everybody, do you want the Browns to make a trade today? Not do you think that they will, but do you want them to go make a trade today? And I'd love the responses in the Twitter inbox. What position? Where? Give me the trades. I mean, it is the fun thing about the trade deadline today. You can throw out your crazy stuff. I think Derrick Henry's probably off that list. We'll see if Ryan Tan. There's a list of guys that I think should be moved. They should get rid of Derrick Henry. The Raiders should trade Devontae Adams.
Barkley.
Yeah, and then Dable comes out and he said, no, we're not going to trade him. If anything with Saquon Barkley, because now Danny Dimes is coming back, the Giants will try to keep this afloat. I think the door is actually reopened to them re-signing Barkley.
Yeah.
Because they realize, we're nothing without him.
And if you're Dable, why, what's in it really for you?
No, and that's, he doesn't do personnel there, I don't think, right? I think they have a GM. But the same thing, this GM and Dable are new, so, why set up somebody else? Yeah. So there's a list of guys that should be traded. You go to the Jets, and that Dalvin Cook thing certainly hasn't worked out. And I did see, oh, God, who was the running back I saw this morning? Oh, man. Because it kind of gave me a little intrigue for a second. Oh, my God, it's going to annoy the hell out of me. Leonard Fournette signed. He's on the practice squad of the Bills.
Oh, I missed that, really?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Unless I saw somebody else.
Rip my Lombardi Lenny dream.
I know, you're a big Lombardi Lenny guy. Yeah, it was Leonard Fournette went to the Bills. Gosh darn it, there was a running back that just isn't getting any carries where he's at. I'll try to find that throughout the show. It's going to annoy the hell out of me now. I mean, there were the two running backs in the Eagles, Rashad Penny and Boston Scott. It wasn't them. I feel like it was the Buccaneers or something.
Like a Keyshawn Vaughn or something?
No. Oh, you don't know exactly who it was? Antonio Gibson, Washington.
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly who it was, because Brian Robinson's their starting running back.
Yeah.
Yes, I knew those colors. And
I like Gibson.
I like Gibson, too. But for what?
No,
Could you get him for a 5? Like, okay, I'll tell you this. If you get Antonio Gibson for a 5, I'll make that trade, sure.
Yeah.
I'll do that. He was who I saw this morning. Exactly who I saw. Antonio Gibson, because it seems like he's not getting many carries there for the Washington Commanders. That's the thing. I think there is a seller's market here. If I'm the Rams, you're selling. Not Cooper Kupp or Aaron Donald or anything, but I think the Rams are sellers. All right, let's run through all the teams and who you think should be sellers. I think Washington, they think they're in this still. Giants should be a seller. Bears should be a seller. Packers should be a seller. Vikings will be buyers.
Raiders, just get rid of Devontae.
Raiders should be sellers. I think the Broncos should be sellers, but they're not going to be.
Yeah.
The Texans kind of stay in the middle. I think the Colts could be sellers. Titans should be sellers. There's a world the Steelers should be sellers, but they won't be. And then out west or out east, the Patriots and the Jets should be sellers. We already saw the Jets trade away Leonard Williams. So there's a seller's market out there. There's a lot of teams that I see just kind of staying pat, though. You know what I mean? There's a lot of teams that I could just be like, yeah, we're just going to ride with what we have. And I think that's where the Browns are at. So our first 2 for Tuesday is up. Do you want the Browns to go make a trade today? Ryan, I'm going to say no. I don't think it's going to improve this team remarkably. I don't see any path to it. I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say no as well. Like it's a fun thing to speculate. Obviously, mid-season, if you get a guy that has some excitement to him, but you have to be realistic, and there's not really an option that fixes a problem we have. So I'm gonna vote no with you.
Our second 2 for Tuesday, 'tis the season pumpkin spice. Yay or nay? This is for a specific group of my friends. I love pumpkin. I mean, like the pumpkin spice latte at Starbucks. It is what it. But I'm talking. I had a delicious pumpkin spice donut this weekend. Right. It was good. Pumpkin pie's got the pumpkin spice. Yes or no? I'm gonna say yes. I'm very clearly on board with it.
Yeah,
you're a black coffee drinker.
Yeah,
so.
But I like to get in the holiday spirit.
Maybe I got pumpkin spice in my beautiful Gecko coffee.
I had a pumpkin spice latte from Dunkin' just to get in the holiday mood, and it was really good. So I'll vote yes.
I had a Reese's pumpkin for breakfast this morning. Getting the holiday
Happy
spirit.
Halloween!
Happy Halloween! Eat candy all day. It is what it is. I got to put the bucket out tonight too. By the way, so we talked about it in yesterday's show. My wife and I are going to our in-laws to trick or treat. So I don't want my house to get egged. So I'm going to put a bucket of candy out for the kids. And if it disappears in two trick-or-treaters, it is what it is. But at least I put the bucket out. I don't know what to tell you. And then she goes, which bucket are we going to put out? I was like, I don't know. I'll just put a bowl out. She goes, no, somebody's going to steal the bowl. So we found some crappy one that we'll put out for the kids tonight on trick-or-treating. So vote on that. 2 for Tuesday is up. At Matt Fontana Show. Drop us a follow there. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're all over the place. Go to Big Play on Twitter, too. All the stuff was replayed, retweeted. Come get some last night. You see that Joe Schobert on last night? Joe Schobert's always one of my favorite players, so come get some with Blake and Greg Williams. And I think the cool thing about their show, they have a lot of ins to a lot of players. Greg Williams coached Joe Schobert here. Joe Schobert's one of my favorite guys because he was literally a walk-on at Wisconsin and then turn that into an NFL career. Pretty good NFL career. Yeah. So shout out to Joe Schobert. You missed that, go back. Come get some with Greg and Blake. Of course, the Reflog show. And then tonight, the return of Josh and Maria Cribs. I can only imagine that Maria's got a lot lined up for Halloween tonight on the return.
Oh,
I'll be excited to watch.
I'm excited for her videos. I love her videos that she does, and they're awesome.
So now we talk about the quarterback situation, which could be scary this weekend for the Browns and the Cardinals. So let's start with the Browns situation. And yesterday, the question was asked to Kevin Stefanski, is there a world that you would give Dorian Thompson-Robinson a look? Now, the question was more of like, the question was initially, are you going to start P.J. Walker? And if not, is it time to maybe give Dorian Thompson-Robinson a look? Here's what Coach Stefanski had to say yesterday about who he might start at quarterback.
We'll make, again, all those determinations roster-wise are for later in the week.
So he didn't say yes, he didn't say no. But then there are these reports out that they might actually turn to Dorian Thompson-Robinson. And I said this yesterday, as respectfully as I can, that I'm done with P.J. Walker. I've seen enough. And he's done 2-1 in those games. It's pretty clear and obvious that maybe they were winning despite him. But I know what I got with P.J. Walker. And you could say that that's enough to win. You know, you had a look at a win again this past weekend against Seattle. Didn't quite go your way. It is what it is. So I would understand the push to start Walker again. The thing that I'm a little concerned about is there are reports now out that the Browns might sit Watson again and let him get healthy again. And it's the battle of, are you sitting him because he can't play, or are you sitting him to try to get him healthier? If you got to sit him because he can't play, there's nothing you can do about that. If you're sitting him because you're worried about him getting hurt again or him furthering the injury, I don't know if I can have that, Ryan. I need him out there. I think you're in a precarious position right now where you are 4-3. You got that win against the 49ers that you frankly shouldn't have, and you had a loss against Seattle that maybe you shouldn't have had either. Okay, that washes. Then if you add in the Indy win, which again, maybe you shouldn't have had, you are in this position. I just feel like the Browns have used up all the P.J. Walker that they can. Like all the, I don't know about good karma or all the luck that you have had, it's gone. It's gone. So I don't know if I like going back to that well again. Now, starting Dorian Thompson-Robinson, there's no guarantee that that will be any better or look any different than P.J. Walker. What I really need, what I really want is Deshaun Watson to come back. And if he can play this weekend, I need him to play this weekend. He has to. The Browns cannot lose this football game. They can't. And you could say they'll win with P.J. Walker. They could win with Dorian Thompson-Robinson, sure. But if there is any, and I know this gets tough because we've had this before. If Deshaun Watson is cleared to play, I need him to play. I have to have him play. And it's not about making me feel better to sleep at night. Time's up. Time is up. That's the one true feeling that I have, that time is up. And the Browns won't tell you that. They'll say there's still 10 games left in the season and 9 after this one. And if we can get him healthy for that stretch run, and even if we're 4-4 going into the final 9 games. And I know this schedule is favorable. You have games that you can win on the way out with a healthy Deshaun Watson. And one of those is after the Cardinals game. I don't say win, but it's a big game against the Ravens. I need him to play. I'm ready for him to play. It's been a month. And if he can go, I need him to get out there and play. It's that simple. Now, can you beat the Cardinals with, again, P.J. Walker, Dorian Thompson-Robinson? Yes, and especially now, they're starting to play games with the quarterback. Jonathan Gannon comes out yesterday, and he says it will not be Josh Dobbs. Now, he wouldn't say who. We know Kyler coming off the ACL injury, and he's opened the window to start practicing, and Gannon kind of said if we can get him up to speed, he might play. But even if he doesn't, they're going to go with Clayton Tune. Why? You might ask yourself that question. The simple answer is the Browns know Josh Dobbs. That's probably the reason. Was he benched because of performance? I mean, yeah, maybe. Like, it's kind of weird. Go look at Josh Dobbs and P.J. Walker. Kind of comparable over their stretch of play here. Now, Dobbs has started the whole season, but why would you go to Clayton Tune? It's because they probably know the Browns have a giant book on Josh Dobbs. And how much that impacts it, yes, it's a different offense, and you don't know exactly the plays that are being called, except if you're Michigan. And you don't know how, things in a game go, but you still have a real good idea of who Josh Dobbs is and what Josh Dobbs is. So that was kind of my take on that. I really thought that they were sitting him to try to give the edge of throwing a curveball to the Browns. And we see that before, right? They won't announce who's starting at quarterback, or, sometimes in baseball, they won't announce who the starter is. They're trying to play a game a little bit. And I thought that's probably why the Cardinals did what they did, where if it's a close enough wash between Dobbs and Clayton Tune, and you're facing Josh Dobbs' old team, well, they're going to lean Clayton Tune. And if you put Kyler Murray in there, sure, fine. First game back. We all know what we saw with Deshaun Watson. There's no guarantee he's going to come back and be the same Kyler Murray. First game in almost a year. That quarterback side of things is kind of meh. Like, I don't care who they start. The Browns have got to win this football game Sunday. Yeah. You have got to win. You have got to improve yourself to 5-3. And I know people would say, if you can get to 5-3 and give Deshaun Watson an extra week of rest, isn't that what you would want to do? Sure. But I am now in a position where it's a must-win game. And if it's a must-win game, I need Deshaun Watson out there. And you could come back with how he's looked on the field or the issues that he's had when he's actually played. I need Deshaun Watson on the field Sunday. This is a 4 to 6 week injury. Ryan, this is week 5. This is week 5. So if it's going to get healthy, if it's going to be where it is, then it's time.
Yeah, I agree.
It's time to put him out there. And you got to, sure, risk injury, and I'm over it. I'm over it. Time is out. You are out of time. It is now time to go start Deshaun Watson, if he can play. We'll find out, because they'll go practice tomorrow. I'm sure he'll be, DNP, or is he throwing? I don't know. And Stefanski didn't have any updates. He's just going to push to the end of the week. The other concerning thing is it sounds like the Browns have some injuries they got to deal with. Stefanski opened his presser by saying yesterday, we have an update on injuries. We still have a lot of information coming in. So correct me if I'm wrong. Zadarius Smith had x-rays. Greg Newsom's got the groin. Was there anything? I mean, there's got to be more than that. I'm sure guys battling through injuries and things like that, but now all of a sudden that's starting to pile up on you a little bit. Browns got to win Sunday. I think Deshaun Watson is the answer to do it. 2 for Tuesdays are up at Matt Fontana Show. Vote there. We'll get to those when we return. Want to talk a little college football as well. College football playoff poll comes out tonight. I loved Heather Dinish's article this morning on ESPN. The simple question is, should Michigan's allegations impact their ranking in the college football poll tonight? We'll get to that. Where should Ohio State be? We got some more Brown stuff to get into. I've got power rankings out this morning as well. We'll talk the Harden trade coming up in the morning update, and we'll keep our eyes and ears out for any other NFL trades that might come down. We'll get to all that coming up. It's the Matt Fontana Show right here on Big Play. Everything that you need. Go to bigplay.com. All of our merch is there, all of our great stuff. And, of course, on Twitter, at Big Play, you get all the shows. Bobby Carpenter, Anthony Schlegel, Hanford Dixon Show, Reflog. You got Blake and Greg Williams with Come Get Some. Chico, 12 to 2 every day. 2 daily shows. Us and Chico. And then, of course, the return of Josh and Maria Cribbs. Bonus time with Bruce Drennan. Booby's World. Cavs are in action tonight. We'll get to our plays a little bit later. Oh, Rafa was on with Reflog last night, too. So it's all there, folks. Go to Big Play on Twitter and drop us a follow if you can at Matt Fontana Show. College football, Browns, got it all for you. Happy Halloween. Stay with us right here on Big Play. Would you say tonight's a big night for the college football playoff poll? It's Halloween. I mean, that's a big night in itself, but the first college football playoff poll comes out tonight. Should Michigan be impacted by how these allegations have come out? We'll discuss that. Welcome back. Matt Fontana Show right here on Big Plays. Ryan Tyler. I'm, of course, Matt Fontana. Follow us, Ryan Tyler 33. I'm at Matt Fontana 83. So pretty interesting. I thought it was 7 questions that Heather Dinich put out this morning facing the College Football Playoff Committee tonight. You know, first question, who's going to be number 1? Well, Georgia should be the answer in my opinion. Who's the highest ranking one-loss team? I frankly think it should probably be Oregon. You know, who's on the bubble at number 5? I would probably go with Washington. Whose contenders' opponents, are they ranked out? Like basically that win for Oklahoma or for Texas, all that other kind of stuff. But one of the questions that she brought up, should Michigan's allegations impact the college football ranking? And she writes, it's highly probable the investigation won't impact Michigan at all. At least not if the selection committee members follow the written protocol that the committee chair reminds them of at the beginning of every meeting. So when they sit down, they go through this written protocol, which, again, take that for what it's worth. And they go through and they say, hey, this stuff should or should not impact it. She writes, if the NCAA or the Big Ten levies a postseason ban, then the Wolverines are out. But if the investigation process at the NCAA level typically goes at a glacial pace, this will not take any time soon. This will not happen anytime soon. And we have to operate that they'll be in the playoff and rank them accordingly. So, one former committee member said, because things take so long, I think the committee tries to do things based on their criteria, the letter of the law, and I don't believe this would come into a discussion during the meetings. And if it did, it would be shut down really quick because it doesn't go with our standards. If for some reason the investigation was fast-tracked and they had to vacate wins during the season, that is a different story. I bring it up to say I agree with everything Heather is writing. The investigation will have no impact on Michigan being in the college football playoff rankings for a couple of reasons. Number one, yes, at this point, they can't prove anything. Does it look bad? Yeah. Do they have all of this mountain of evidence to go after Harbaugh in Michigan? Yeah, probably. Are they going to do that next week? No. This will be something that they retroactively do. They're going to go after the season, then they're going to vacate wins, and then Harbaugh might leave, and Michigan might get a postseason ban next year or the year after, which I always think is like funny because at that point, they're probably going to suck anyway. It's a postseason ban for a team that would go to the Credit.com Bowl or something like that. The Garage Beer Bowl coming soon. I hope. Like, a postseason ban when you already levy all these sanctions doesn't really mean a lot to me. So right now, I think the committee needs to operate that way. Are they in or are they out? And right now, they should be in. And at the end of the season, we'll have the Ohio State-Michigan game, and that will probably decide one of your spots in the college football playoff if the next 3 weeks go the way that they're supposed to with Ohio State and Michigan winning. You assume that's going to happen. But let me ask you, Ryan, do you think this investigation should impact their ranking in the college football playoff?
No. I mean, obviously Ohio State fans would be like, yeah, of course, they want them to be. But no, sure. I mean, no, it shouldn't. And because, yeah, so Georgia is rightfully number 1, back-to-back national champions. And then, but Michigan is, you could easily make the argument they're number 1 in the country, maybe the most talented roster in college football. So it would be bad for the sport. So I don't think any world this season that we see any repercussions come to fruition.
And don't forget, the NCAA will never do anything to take money out of their own pockets. They live in a world where Georgia, Michigan, and Ohio State making the college football playoff is good for them because that's a lot of money. If they could slide Alabama in there, they would. And don't forget, the whole reason they made this committee was so that they could do what the hell they want. Do you know what this committee wants? Michigan in the playoff. And don't for a second think that that doesn't impact it, because it does. And you could say about my biggest knock on Michigan has been their schedule. They have not had a hard schedule. And that's why I will always lean Georgia, because I think they've had a little bit of a tougher schedule. The SEC is not what it's been in the past. I frankly think the Big Ten as a whole is down. I do. Like you have, and granted, it's always been pretty much just two teams. Sometimes Ohio State and Michigan, or sometimes Ohio State, Wisconsin. Penn State was there. Michigan State had a run for a little bit. It's always been two teams. But even the rest of the conference sucks. The Big Ten West, the Big Ten championship nominee from the West is going to have 2 losses in the conference. And that's not unseen either, too, right? Like we've had some dogs come into the Big Ten championship game to either face Michigan or Ohio State out of the East. That's why I'm glad they're getting rid of these stupid divisions. They're going to go to this, just 18 teams, and the 2 best teams are going to go to the Big Ten championship game. If it's Ohio State, Michigan, great. You know, I'd love that. But that's the world that we live in for today. I think the Pac-12 is good. I think there's a lot of good teams in the Pac-12. So that's where Washington and Oregon can hold on, and they can. That's their best case. Is we're fighting, but we're in the best conference right now, and they have some key games coming on the way out too. But it's not getting impacted. And I think tonight it's going to come out Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State. 5 will be Washington, and then you can sprinkle in your Oklahomas and your Texases and your Texas, whatever. Sprinkle in your Oregons, your Bama will be there, and you'll see how it plays out. The other interesting thing from Heather's article was how important is the actual first ranking. How important is the first ranking? Ryan, she puts the very first rankings from last year. These were the teams 1 through 4. Tennessee, Ohio State, Georgia, Clemson. Tennessee was number 1. They finished 6. Ohio State was 2. They finished 4th. Georgia was 3. They went to 1. Clemson was 4. They fell to 7. The 2 teams that made it, Michigan and TCU, they were 5th and 7th. And they jumped up to 2 and 3. So just telling you that half of the teams probably will not make it. 2 of the 4 teams in the ranking tonight will not make it. And that's pretty apparent because we know one of them won't in Ohio State or Michigan. So then your other one is just Florida State. I'm assuming Florida State or even Washington. Throw them in. You assume that they might lose a game. You know, we had the debate about Georgia, Alabama in the SEC championship game. I think Georgia's locked. I think they're pretty good. I think they're going to make it in. So there you go. So you'll have some sort of turnover there. Okay, she even goes a little bit further. 2021, it went Georgia, Alabama, Michigan, Oregon. Only 2 of those teams made it. Georgia fell from 1 to 3. Alabama went from 2 to 1. Michigan State went from 3 to 10. And Oregon went from 4 to 14 back in 2021. Michigan and Cincinnati made it that year. They were 7 and 6. 2020, Alabama started at 1, finished at 1. Notre Dame went from 2 to 4. Clemson went from 3 to 2, and Ohio State went from 4 to 3. So 2020 was the last year that all 4 of the top teams in the first poll actually made the college football playoff. But as I look back, and I'm just going to kind of sum up everything here, the lowest that any team ever was in the initial ranking and made the playoff was 9. Back when Oklahoma got into the 4 spot with Jalen Hurts, they were 9 in the opening ranking. So that should tell you you have to be in the top 10. It's not that you won't fall out of it, but in tonight's ranking, in the history of doing this, going all the way back to 2016, no team has ever made it beyond the top 9. So you got to be there. And thinking about how it's going to rank out, and I'm just going to go off the AP poll for a second here. Your top 9 teams, Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State, Washington, Oregon, Texas, Alabama, Penn State. If that holds true, 4 of your college football teams will come out of that. That would mean Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Notre Dame, LSU, Louisville would all not find their way to the college football playoff. Louisville's an interesting one, man, because they are 7-1. They're 15, up 3 spots in the AP poll. On the way out, they have Virginia, Virginia Tech, Miami, and Kentucky. Miami would be the hardest game probably on that schedule on the way out. But they're also lining up to then face Florida State in the ACC championship game. And it could be easy to say that Florida State has been on the run. Because I think the other problem with the committee is when you look at the season in totality. Do you go back and be like, man, they were in it the whole time? I can't tell you how much weight I think that carries. When you're a team that is in it the whole time, like Georgia, like Michigan, when you're in there the whole time, it becomes easier just to keep you there, even if they lose in their conference championship game, as opposed to a team that's got to climb the mountain. I'd rather already be there and sit there than actually climb the mountain. And yeah, it comes back to who the team, do they really want Louisville to make it? No. College football committee, they'd rather have Florida State. They'd rather have Florida State make it. And I think they're hoping that it plays out that way. So I just thought it was an interesting one as we get ready for tonight to see the college football play. So it matters. I guess the whole point, and again, reading Heather's article was really interesting to see. It does matter. I think it matters to a point. You want to be in the top 4. You want to stay there, but you got to be, I would say, and even then, Ryan, too, going back to 2016, I gave you the one team that made it outside of that was Oklahoma. Really, on average, you want to be in the top 7. Because Oklahoma at 9th, that was the only other time out. No 8 seed from the first one has ever made it. There's been a couple 7s. So really, take that one Oklahoma team out. You have got to be in the top 7. In the opening poll, which is usually about this time every year, you have got to be in the top 7. So again, Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State, Washington, Oregon, and Texas from the AP poll. Alabama and Penn State would be out. Penn State's fried. They're done. I think that's pretty fair. You have 5 undefeated teams at the end of the season. I think there will only be 3. Those 3 probably will make it. And you slice in another one, whoever it might be. So I'll be watching tonight. I'm pretty interested to see how that kind of plays out tonight with the college football playoff. Let's dive back into the Browns. Got some tweets in the Twitter inbox at Matt Fontana 83, at Matt Fontana Show, Ryan Tyler at Ryan Tyler 33. Our first 2 for Tuesday is up. Do you want to see the Browns make a trade today? You as a fan, do you want to see the Browns make a trade? This one is 82-18. Yes. People are clamoring for the trade, Ryan. You're shaking your head a little bit there.
I mean, then I would love to see them comment on what they think is realistic because I'd be curious.
ND on Twitter. Nah, I'm good with a quarterback whose arm might fall off and an XFL quarterback only capable of turning the football.
Oh, well, who are you going to get?
What are you going to get?
Carson Wentz? Get out of here. No.
You can just sign Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Go trade for Jameis Winston.
Honestly, I would be okay with Jameis Winston, but don't, I do not want to hear Tannehill. I don't want to hear,
No, I don't want to. I mean, you don't mean Ryan Tannehill. This situation is 1,000 times different if Deshaun Watson was out for the year. You want to know what?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
They're not. We're going down loony lane here right now.
It is Halloween.
It is Halloween. 'Tis the season. If they go trade for a quarterback today, then that tells you that something's really up with Deshaun Watson, that they're really concerned, right? And then I don't even want to think about the hell that will break loose if that happened. Because I had this thing with Watson. I'm trying to live by it here on the show. Is you call me when he's ready to go. You call me when Deshaun Watson is ready to go. The problem is that, there's just always going to be this question of, did the Browns screw this move up? And there are people that are already saying, yes, that this was a giant mistake to give up what they did for Watson. It's been off to a rough start. And there are people that have no hope. And you want to know what? I got nothing for you. I'm sorry to tell you, I have nothing to dissuade you from the take that this has been an unmitigated disaster and they have set the franchise back. I've got nothing to try to tell you otherwise. So that is a really crappy feeling at this point, because you know that is more of a realistic possibility than not. If I sat here today and you asked me that I had to place a bet, that I had to go to Tipico, and I got $1 million that I don't have on the line, and I had to place a bet, do I think this Watson thing is going to work out or not? I'm placing the bet on not. Of course I would. I've shown that there's been nothing shown to me any other side of it. And as much as I want to put that to the side and not think about it, it is the only thing. It's the only thing with this team right now. And they will have to make moves, not only right now, but you are under the guise of the best way out for this franchise is for Deshaun Watson to work out. Now, the thing that we know, the franchise will move on, not move the town. I'm not talking about that. The Haslams will still own the team. The Browns will still be here. We will still be fans. But guys won't have their jobs. Players won't be here anymore. Just strictly from an age thing. And I've always said that you are wasting prime years of Miles and Bitonio, and we know Nick Chubb is injured, all that, but you're wasting those prime years, and you will have this turnover. But for the Browns organization that has pretty much tied a lot of their future to Deshaun Watson, your only path is to get him right. So it'd be hard for me to not think that that impacts moves for today. It does. Because if you go trade for Jacoby Brissett, and I love Mary Kay Cabot, and her article this morning is, if the Browns can't trade for Jacoby Brissett, they should bring back Josh Dobbs and possibly start him against the Cardinals on Sunday. What a world that would be, by the way. You could trade for him. Now, would the Cardinals do that? I think they might. They got nothing going for them. What do they care? Yeah. You know what I mean? Now, the rule is you can't sign a practice squad guy from the team that you're going to play. So if Josh Dobbs is on the practice squad, this move is nothing. You go trade for him, that's a different story. That's a different story. Now, to start with Mary Kay's initial part of it, if the Browns can't trade for Jacoby Brissett, if they go trade for Brissett, which, by the way, he was trending on Twitter again this morning, it comes back to what are you going to give up? And we had Jack Duffin on last week to talk about it. Jack feels like it's a 3. It's too rich for my blood. That is too rich for my blood. The positive is that Sam Howell is playing well. So any notion of him having to take over for Howell in Washington, not going to, there's nothing there. You don't have to worry about that. So I believe there's a world that Jacoby Brissett is available for the Browns today if they want to go make the trade. For a 3, a little too rich. But then that snowball effect goes back to what I'm talking about with Watson. They trade for Jacoby Brissett. Ryan, alarms are going to be screaming. People are going to go, well, wait a minute. What the hell's going on with Watson here? And it's going to bring up all of these issues, these underlying issues that people have, coming back to if Deshaun Watson is the guy or not. And you could say, this is just for the interim. This is just to get us through the next couple of games. Let me ask you that, Ryan. Would a 3 be worth it to you to get Jacoby Brissett for the next 2 games? You get him for the Arizona game, and you get him for the Baltimore game.
No, because I believe regardless if we have to start PJ Walker, we're still going to win that game. And then beyond that, Baltimore, no, I'm not confident that we're going to win with him either. So why am I going to give a third for that short of a rental? And if we do, that goes to show, there's more to it than they've let on, and Deshaun's seriously hurt.
Yeah, and it comes back to when will Watson come back? And that's maybe the issue the Browns have been chasing. 3 weeks ago, if you'd have told me it was going to play out the way that it did, as far as him missing time, you might be more apt to go make a trade. But also in that stretch, you went 2-1, which with PJ Walker. So I mean, you've done about as good as you can in the interim. I will say, and it comes back to my point that I started the show with, I think the PJ Walker magic has run out. And I think you have squeezed every ounce of that out you can. So I'm ready for a new quarterback. Is that Dorian Thompson-Robinson? Does that really excite me? I don't know. Josh Dobbs, can you just trade him back for a 5? Would you do that? The 5th is you got for Dobbs. You just give it right back.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that because it kind of just washes out, and then, God forbid, Deshaun Watson is actually seriously hurt. Yeah, he's a serviceable backup. Better than what we have now, at least. That's for sure.
Twitter inbox. Arizona benched Dobbs. Why would we want him? I think they benched him because they don't want him playing his former team. That's my whole point on that, to the Twitter inbox point. Because the other thing, quarterback is the left, like the 2 positions, everybody's saying wide receiver and running back. Ryan, I would make the case that the quarterback is actually the most important. Like, that is number one on my trade list. Like, if you asked me if I could magically create a trade, it would be for quarterback. That is the position that we need. I like Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt. Wide receivers, I just like to start throwing the guys we already have. Quarterback would be the trade that I could get.
Yeah.
Quarterback would be the trade that I would pull a trigger on. But for what level? For what level? For Jacoby Brissett level? For Josh Dobbs level? And you are limited, in my opinion, to those two guys. How the hell are you going to get them in this offense and ready to go? Because if I'm going to trade for somebody, let's just say that they trade mythically for somebody today. You need them to start Sunday. Why would you give up whatever you have to give up and go through all these hoops to not play them Sunday? So I can't trade for Tannehill. I can't trade for Jameis Winston. They're not going to get up to speed in this offense. And, yeah, it's as simple as Dobbs was here and Brissett was here last year. Can they quickly pick things right back up and go? The only good news is it's today. The trade deadline is today. So if you're going to move, if you're going to get somebody, you're going to get him in here. And Kevin Stefanski and Alex Van Pelt, I'm sure, are going to have a lot of sleepless nights over the next couple of nights if you brought somebody back in to get him up to speed. Now your comeback is good news. Oh, hey, it's the Arizona Cardinals. Should be able to beat them. Should be able to have a lesser of an offense, kind of dumbed down a little bit, be able to get a win. Well, if you're going to do that, why not just do it with Dorian Thompson-Robinson? We'll see. All right, we got the morning update. We have not talked about the Harden trade yet. Of course, I tweeted earlier this morning, Ryan. I go, the NFL waking up like all excited, like, hey, it's our trade deadline day. We'll dominate the news cycle. The NBA is like, the blank you are. Here you go. I got a take on the Harden trade. It's a little old, get off my lawn type of guy. But I was really shocked to see what that trade entailed. The impact on the Cavs. Any move like this, any big national stuff, what's the impact on the Cavs? We'll get to that coming up. We got the morning update. We'll get to timeout bracket. A lot of Browns to get to as well. And our bets for tonight with our friends at Tipico. Folks, Tipico app is the best. I love using it. And here's the thing. I know that there are, you probably have multiple sports books that you probably use. Tipico has truly become my favorite because of the boosts. I love the boosts. And I think this is really what sets Tipico apart. I think their lines are set. They're solid. They're good to go. But you go for tonight, Rangers, Diamondbacks. Boost, Marcus Semien and Corey Seager, who's on his way to winning the MVP for that series, to record 2+ total hits each. So if you think Marcus Semien and Corey Seager are each going to get 2 hits tonight, you get that boosted to 265. Or Marte, get 2 hits for the Diamondbacks plus 230. And they'll add boosts throughout the day, too. Get your quick same-game parlays, quick SGPs. Ooh, there's even more. Here, I got a couple for you. Ready? Josh Young, Gurriel, 1 hit each, and the over hits at 9.5. Plus 237. So I'm sorry, 327. How about this? Josh Young, Rangers money line, plus 173 on a boost. Corbin Carroll, 1 hit. Diamondbacks money line, plus 242. So that's kind of my thing with Tipico. If you feel like the Diamondbacks are going to win tonight, you just got to take that Corbin Carroll's going to get 1 single, and that's it. And you're boosted all the way to 242 on the same game parlay there with Tipico. Use that code BIGPLAY150. You get the 150 in bonus bets when you deposit 50, and you get that future dog pound bet as well. Get signed up today. We'll get our bets for tonight for the Cavs. They're back in action. We'll talk a little baseball too as well. Cavs tonight, 3.5-point dogs with the Knicks. I'm kind of feeling a little bounce back for the Cavs. Kind of like them, plus the 3 tonight. What do you think, Ryan? Can I just take them on the money line?
Yeah.
All right, 135. I like that on the money line. I'll get a little 15er action on there. Done. Place the bet right there. Tipico. Use that code BIGPLAY150 when you sign up. I got the Cavs on the money line for tonight. We'll talk a little wine and gold a little bit later. Let's catch a break. We got the morning update, Harden trade, more Browns, more NFL trades. All comes your way next. And a potential manager for the Guardians. Stay with us on Big Play. All right, back here on the Matt Fontana Show right here on Big Play. We're streaming Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Check us out on Instagram for all our reels as well. 10 o'clock, well, 10:04, close enough. Take to it. Ryan, the morning update, all the stories you got to know, including a big trade in the NBA.
Alrighty, a little bit of Halloween news for us here with the Guardians. They interviewed Brewers manager Craig Counsell for the open job, and he's got a little bit of history here with the with the Guardians. Not good history for us.
No, not for us, but of course, we go back to the World Series and the Brewers. I think it's interesting that, so he's been in Milwaukee since 2015. 2015, he has taken the Brewers to the playoffs 5 out of the last 6 years. Why are they moving on? Now, the thing is, they made it to the NLCS in 18, wild card round in 19 and 20, and then the NLDS in 21 and 23. So they'll probably sit there and saying, okay, we're getting there, but you're not going anywhere. And in fact, since 2018, Craig Counsell's only won one playoff game. Not series, one playoff game. He went 6-4 in his first playoff run. Since then, he is 1-8. So I'm sure they're looking at it to say, it's time for we need to change the scenery here when it comes to the Brewers. So that was kind of my first question about why even he's available. Then beyond that, okay, so he's in his 50s. People are trying to dive into this analytics thing, right? That this is going to be an analytics hire, and this is going to be a guy that's only going to be staring at a laptop or a tablet to make a decision, where I think I look at a guy like Counsell. Oh, let me start by this. All managers use it. You want to look at Bruce Bochy and Dusty Baker and all these older guys. They still have that input. It's still there. It's a tool. Why would you not use a tool to help you better? So I'm sure he'll be involved in that. I think the biggest thing for me, and the same thing with Stephen Voigt, who was reportedly interested too, they're former players. I think that goes a long way. Baseball, more than any other sport, I would like to have a manager that's a former player. I think it speaks a little bit more to that clubhouse with how the season is handled, with the grind that the season is. And they don't have to be all high-level players. Terry Francona was not some high-level player in the major leagues. Craig Counsell, 2-time World Series champ, one of them, and he was the NLCS MVP in 2001. Got every minute All-Star team. But he was a solid player. He had a 16-year career in baseball. I think that carries something. So I like the fact that the two people that have been rumored the most are former players. I'll start right there. I like that very much. I guess I would probably go Counsell. If you had to pick, both Stephen Voigt and Craig Counsell are available, I'd probably go Craig Counsell. I'm just excited that he interviewed. They're making some moves. They're seeing how it goes. So I'd be happy. I'll say this. I'm happy with how the Guardians have been approaching this managerial hire at this moment. I don't need somebody right now. They're interviewing all these people. I'm happy with where we're at right now.
Alrighty, well, the Cavs and Knicks tip off in Cleveland tonight. Knicks are 3-point favorites. The news is that Jarrett Allen remains out. Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell remain game-time decisions, but I feel like the Cavs might have a little bit of revenge on their minds.
Oh, that's kind of why I like them on the money line tonight a little bit. Tell me Tristan Thompson's not going to enter this game tonight at some point, Donovan, I think, will play. I have a little mild concern about Darius Garland's hamstring, where the reports that we got from practice yesterday was he didn't participate. He came out after to get some shots up. I think that might be a little more lingering than the Donovan Mitchell injury. So the question is, without Allen and Garland, do you think the Cavs can beat the Knicks tonight? And we're seeing, again, Karis LeVert, I think a big player for tonight. Gosh, I should look this up. On Tipico. Cavs, Knicks. Player props. Points. Mitchell's at 30.5. Kind of like that a little bit. Man, I'd love for a Karis LeVert one here. Because I just like to see what Karis LeVert would be. I think he might. Well, let me put it this way. I feel like the Cavs are going to win. So to have that happen, I'm going to need Karis LeVert to kind of show up a little bit. But I think they can do it. I think Evan Mobley, obviously, if you can get another 30-point performance out of him, I think it'll be Mitchell. I think it'll be a little Karis LeVert. I like the Cavs to win tonight. The Knicks, Barrett, they're off to a little slow start. So the interesting thing, both teams are 1-2. The Knicks lost to the Celtics, beat up on the Hawks, and then they lost to the Pelicans. I don't know how good they are. And you factor in that we're at home and everything that happened, I understand why the Knicks are favored. And if I was in Vegas betting, I would make them that favorite. I think 3.5 is a great line. I'm going to take the Cavs on the money line tonight. I think they get it done. Little home cooking, big game for LeVert, big game for Evan Mobley.
Alrighty, well, keeping in the NBA world, we got the news pretty late. Honestly, it was early this morning.
It was like 4 a.m. this morning,
yeah.
I think.
Alrighty, well, James Harden is getting traded to the Clippers. Another big three. He joins Paul George and Kawhi there in Los Angeles.
So the impact on the Cavs to start. Philly is fried. Like cheesesteak. God, that sounds so good. Fry it on up, throw the mozzarella and the onions and the peppers on it. They are cooked. They're done. You want to know the next thing that's going to come out? Joel Embiid should get the hell out of there. Because I also, so this was the trade. Harden, PJ Tucker, and Philippe Petrusoff, who I've never even heard of, to the Clippers. They get back Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, who's a good player, Nick Batum, KJ Martin, an unprotected 1 in 28, 2 second-round picks, and a 29 pick swap, and an additional first-round pick coming from the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is the trade. The Clippers won this trade. That is a trade that the 76ers, they needed to move on from. So I think this helps because the Cavs are a better team than the 76ers. They were going to finish ahead of the 76ers. What this does, Ryan, this buries them. This absolutely buries the 76ers because now the drama's going to start. I think the drama will start with Joel Embiid. Yeah. I think it's a tough spot for Nick Nurse to have to deal with this. And you could come back, and people said this to me yesterday, or not yesterday, this morning, right? Because the trade happened. I got in a text thread with some people this morning. And I said, wow, I really think this hurts Philadelphia. And a comeback that a buddy of mine had was, but they were preparing that Harden wasn't going to be there the whole time. And I said, that's fair. But now it actually happened. It's a little different. So that is maybe a reason for me to pull the reins just a little on they knew he wasn't going to be there. And they knew that he was not going to be part of this team. The bigger question and the bigger impact could be you have a star player calling his shot again. Is that good or bad for the NBA? And the NBA is the most powerful league when it comes to players and what they can get and what they demand. James Harden got what he wanted. James Harden got exactly what he wanted. Now, it might not have been the team that he wanted, but it's pretty damn close, right? Didn't he not? Was the Clippers not one of those teams? So, whether that's good or bad, I don't know for the NBA, but you got a star player who got his wish to get out of his situation. I don't think that works well for the NBA. And I really think that the Clippers won this trade. Sorry, I do. So, Philly's cooked. They're fried.
Alrighty, well, the World Series, the Rangers inch one game closer to getting their first ring in franchise history. However, Matt, I got the alert yesterday. Game 1 was the least watched World Series in recorded history.
So, 2 teams that nobody cares about. And you helped baseball this year. You helped baseball this year a lot with the pitch clock, and people were in and they were involved. You have good players on the Rangers. Marcus Semien, Corey Seager. But they're not, are they stars? Seager, I guess, to a point. You've seen him at All-Star games, sure. Who are the Diamondbacks? Corbin Carroll, probably. Zach Gallen, I guess. You are missing your star power. And that is the crappy part of it. And then you're also having 2 teams that nobody really cares about. Does it bother you if the Arizona Diamondbacks wins the World Series, Ryan? No. Does it bother you if the Texas Rangers win or lose? No. If it's the Dodgers or the Yankees or the Red Sox or any of these other teams, you would instantly have some skin in the game because you're rooting against one of these other teams to lose, not even for a team to win. You just didn't want to see they needed the Astros to go. Because you want to know what? Everybody, including myself, be rooting for the Diamondbacks. Because I don't want to see the Astros win anything. Your best matchup would have been the Dodgers and the Astros. Didn't happen. So, you got to deal with it. And I think it's a bigger question or a bigger issue about the marketing of baseball. And I'm not getting that whole ball of wax. I think they've made the right moves to help, and the pitch clock has been nice. But, yeah, it's been a dud of the World Series so far. It certainly has.
All right, we'll end this Halloween edition of the Morning Update with football. We had Monday Night Football last night, and the Lions beat the Raiders. They improved to 6-2, Matt. Let me ask you this. Obviously the Browns and Lions get talked about in the same conversation for a lot of different reasons, mainly being the lack of record of success. Are you surprised that the Lions this year have had a pretty decent more amount of success than the Browns?
A little bit, but, I mean, their roster, like watching that game last night, I'm on Ross St. Brown, and they talked about this on the broadcast. The Lions GM, and I apologize, who it is? Brad Holmes. Dude, the job that he has done. Do you know that every one of his draft picks is still on the Lions roster?
When did he take over as a GM? Do you know?
2 years ago.
Wow.
2 years ago.
Yeah, that's
2021.
That's
so
crazy.
He had the 2021 season, the 2022 season, and now we're into the 2023 season. So he's had 3 drafts. 3 drafts. Every draft pick that he's made is still on the roster. Man, and that's finding Amon-Ra St. Brown, later, and certainly all that. But the roster construction, I mean, dude, they have some players. Like, I watched a few Lions games, but sitting down and watching that game, I was watching the game very intently because I took the Raiders.
Well, Sam Laporta might be having the best rookie season of a tight end
They look pretty smart for trading away T.J. Hawkinson now, don't they? You didn't have to pay Hawkinson. You got a draft pick for him back, and Sam Laporta's cheap.
And, man, I'll tell you that. When they traded the DeAndre Swift to draft Gibbs, it was questionable, but, I mean, it worked out, and I'm happy Swift is finding great success in Philly. So good for them.
Certainly, and I give credit to Dan Campbell, to Man Campbell for doing it. But, the offensive line, some of these guys were already there. Decker, Jonah, a lot of Ohio State guys there. But you talk about Sam Laporta. They're not even throwing it to Jamison Williams. They don't even need it. They're getting it to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Josh Reynolds had a really good day. Khalif Raymond, I forgot about him. But defensively, there were some. Cameron Sutton jumped out, and I go, man, like, he's playing really well. Certainly they have Aiden Hutchinson. They have built that team, man. They have built it up, and they're a really good football team. They are. I should have known better. I shouldn't have taken Jimmy G coming off the injuries. Josh McDaniels was trending on Twitter all morning.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're not even going to throw it to Devontae Adams. They are a cluster blank there. Poor Max Crosby. Because that guy, he did literally everything that he could.
Yep.
And he can't. What are you going to do as a DM? So they're a lot of trouble. I should have known better. Still had a good weekend in Tipico, but I should have known better for that. Great stuff for the morning update. Let's dive back into the Browns because Mary Kay's article really starting to pick up some steam this morning. So Mary Kay Cabot, Cleveland.com. She's the best. And she put out an interesting article this morning. If the Browns can't trade for Jacoby Brissett, should they bring back Josh Dobbs and possibly start him this Sunday? Mary Kay writes, if the Browns can't pry Jacoby Brissett away from the Commanders, they should try to get Josh Dobbs back from the Cardinals before today's Tuesday 4 o'clock trade deadline and possibly even start him. He wouldn't cost much in either draft pick compensation or salary. Dobbs is owed $1.5 million base this season, which you'd be paying, half of that probably. And yes, he'd be an upgrade over P.J. Walker and Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Granted, Dobbs, who was traded to the Cardinals, along with a 7th-round pick in exchange for a 5th, was benched by Jonathan Gannon for this weekend. Now, again, I believe that has more to do about the game being played between not wanting Dobbs to play against the Browns. But if Mary Kay writes, so if the 1-7 Cardinals are giving up on Dobbs, why would he make sense for the Browns? For starters, Dobbs' close friend Deshaun Watson might need to rest his strained shoulder again against the Cardinals, which would be the 5th straight game he couldn't either start or finish because of the shoulder. This is where it gets interesting for Mary Kay. The truth is, the Browns aren't even sure if Watson will be ready for the Ravens game. Even though everyone in the organization obviously hopes that he will be. They have a grueling stretch coming up after the Cardinals games, a back-to-back with the Ravens and Steelers, and then 2 road games against the Broncos and the Rams. With the Browns at 4-3, they can't afford to fall much further behind than the 6-2 Ravens. Mary Kay and I are on the same page. The time has run out. The time has run out for the Cleveland Browns to keep doing this. Now, my solution would be just to play Watson. But if the Browns aren't even sure that he'll be ready in 2 weeks, then you go make this move.
Yep.
You do. And it's not... Sometimes I can do the shows before they even happen, Ryan. They trade for... Let's just say they trade for Josh Dobbs. And they bring him in. And they say it's because Watson's not going to be ready. The flood will be... How the hell did you not know about Watson? Or was he misdiagnosed? Or what the hell is going on with the handling and the treatment of his shoulder? That would be the wave of Browns fans if they went and made this move and went out and traded for somebody if they needed to. But the Browns need to understand that doesn't matter. What has happened to this point, you can't change the history. So what you have got to do from this moment on is the best course of action for the Cleveland Browns for the remainder of the season, or even just for this weekend. And yes, I would say Josh Dobbs and Jacoby Brissett would give me more confidence than P.J. Walker or Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I can't snap my fingers and get those guys here. But if you add in that you don't know if Deshaun Watson will even be ready in 2 weeks for the Ravens game, you go make this move. You do it. And it would probably be more Dobbs, I would think. I don't want to trade a 3. I don't. If you can get Dobbs for the 5, you do it. Okay, fine, great. I don't know if that'll get it done either. And do you want to know the worst part of it? The Browns are kind of known. I guess the cat's out of the bag. They're a little desperate, right? If they call these teams and they ask for these quarterbacks, they know that they would have us over a barrel and that they would say, well, all right, we're going to hold out for the 3. The only thing is, I guess the Browns, could say, well, we'll go somewhere else. We'll go to Washington. We'll go get some other quarterback. They could try to play those games. But I think Arizona and Washington both know the situation the Browns are in, and it's not a good one, Ryan. It's when you have no leverage in this situation, you can't negotiate. The Browns are stuck. And I guess at the end of all of it, if they need to go back to P.J. Walker, I don't want them to. But I guess if that's really what you got to do, that's what you got to do.
I think that's honestly, if I was to bet today, I think that's going to happen. And while, I do fully believe with P.J. Walker starting, there's still zero reason that we should lose that game to the Cardinals.
But then that comes back to the Watson part of this.
No, I agree.
Because if you know that he's going to miss the Ravens game, then you are 1,000 times better off getting somebody in here so they can play a game.
I agree, yeah.
And then go out there against the Ravens when you really need it. And specifically, especially if it's Jacoby Brissett, he has not played this year. At least Dobbs have been in games. He started for the Cardinals. So that's one thing. That's a side of it. But if it's Brissett, you got to start him on Sunday. You got to get him in here, and you got to, dude, you're going to spend 4 days just getting him ready to go.
Bring your sleeping bag to Berea.
I guess, is this a little more, has this trade deadline turned into something a little more interesting than we could have thought? Because, I woke up this morning going, oh, yeah, the Browns aren't going to do anything. And now, an hour and a half into the show, I'm starting to sit there and say, okay, maybe they do need to go get a quarterback. And the Browns, listen, they know what's going on. They know what's up with Watson. And the answer might be, it's still the week-to-week thing. But, all right, let me put it this way. If you don't have a concrete answer that Deshaun Watson will be able to play against the Ravens, then you go make the move.
Absolutely.
And I don't think the Browns have that. So maybe they got to go make a move. I'm sure they're sick of dealing with this back and forth as much as anybody, right? And there's just nothing you can do about it. I'm going to look this up again. Browns future draft picks. You think somebody would take a 2025 pick?
Yeah, I mean, depends.
2025, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 2, 6.
Yeah, but God, I would love to keep those.
Oh yeah, I mean, and back into 2025, you back have having your first round picks. Thank God. Next year, 2024, you have your 2, your 3, and a 5. 2 5s. 2 5s. 2 6s. 2 7s. Could you do a 5 and a 7? Would you take it?
For what?
For Dobbs, for Brissett, either one.
Who'd
you rather have?
Well,
Brissett or Dobbs?
Taking into price or just straight up?
Just straight up. You want a guy starting Sunday, who do you want? Oh, I think this is an easy answer.
So who would you say?
Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
Jacoby Brissett.
I mean, yeah. It's the sense of, you're right. In the sense
I've seen him more. I saw, you know what I mean? I just that it's probably Brissett. Now, the flip is, at least Josh Dobbs was here in training camp because playbooks change. And remember, last year, they had to do a playbook for Jacoby Brissett and then one for Deshaun Watson. This year was supposedly all the Deshaun Watson playbook. So it's not as simple as Brissett comes back in and everything is exactly the same. And also, there's a world that Josh Dobbs fits this offense better than Jacoby Brissett. And I'm sure those are conversations that if they're really involved or really interested in going to make these trades, that they're discussing all of that right now. So there's the balance, right? Like if I sat here and I said pick one, Brissett or Dobbs, you are first taking into account what you have to give up to get them, but then you're taking into account what they're going to look like once they're here and how they fit the offense. Again, on a truncated timetable where you got to go Sunday. And this is a different offense. So, I think Brissett would make me feel better Sunday, but Dobbs checks the box of everything else. He checks at least he was here more recently, and I think he fits the offense a little bit better. And it'll be cheaper.
Yeah.
And it'll be cheaper. So, those are the big decisions that they're going to have to sit there and make.
Yeah, I pray that Deshaun's able to go this week. If Deshaun can't go this week and then he starts in Baltimore, God, that's a tough situation to have an ounce of optimism for.
I'm trying to think, because you can trade future picks, right? 3 years in advance. So you're allowed to trade up to 3 years. So there's no reason that you can't trade a 2025 pick. You got a 4. I think a 4 is a sweet spot. A 4 is high enough that I think it'd be intriguing, but it's not something that I'm super worried about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily want to do a 3, but I'd give up a 2025 fourth round pick. Call.
Yeah.
Call. Dude, what a flip. I started the show. I woke up. I tried to put my son's Halloween costume on for him. He was not having that. That's why I was late this morning. Not having it. And I was like, oh, the Browns aren't going to do anything today. I've kind of flipped. To our Twitter question, at Matt Fontana Show, asking everybody, do you want the Browns to make a trade today? Update. 82-18, people still say yes. I voted no. I think I've changed my answer. I think I want them to go get a quarterback right now. I do. 2025 pick, Brissett or Dobbs. I'm kind of on board with what Mary Kay wrote. We'll see. All right, let's catch a break. We'll jump in a time hop. We'll see if anything happens, any more trades happen in our time and our break. We'll get to that. Got some power rankings to get to. And, of course, our bracket of the week. We'll reveal that. We got it up and rolling with all of it next right here. Big play. Matt Fontana Show. Check us out. Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. We'll be back right after this. All right, let's get into a little bit of Time Hop here, a Halloween edition of Time Hop right here on the Matt Fontana Show. Welcome back. Big play. We're right here. Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Follow us at Matt Fontana Show. We do Time Hop every day. We head on back and tell you what happened, including a very famous one, Ryan. This day, 1999, the expansion Browns get their first win on the couch. Hail Mary to Kevin Johnson as time expires. We beat the Saints 21-16. The Browns started the season 0-7 and got the Hail Mary. So the funny thing is, my prior stop, I told you a lot about Gerard Cherry. Gerard was on the field for that. And he claims to this day Kevin Johnson was not his man. Because Gerard, he actually comes in late and tries to hit Kevin Johnson out of bounds. Gerard, I love you. I know he wasn't your man. But since the Browns were gone, and that was the first franchise victory in 1,409 days. Wow. Because they were gone for that stretch and then started the season 0-7. This day in history for you,
Matt,
for the Browns.
Let me just interrupt and ask you, would you consider Couch an all-time bust?
I think the injuries, do you count injuries as a bust?
I guess you have to. But
okay, so then yes.
Yeah, it's not fair.
So then yes. Now, I stand by that he got hurt, and that's not necessarily his fault because, that offensive line that he was playing behind was not great, and that's really what hurt him. So take that for what it's worth. But, yeah, I mean, if you just stand by he's a bust. He's a bust. So I guess you got to put it that way. This day, 1994, 14-year-old Venus Williams made her professional tennis debut. Wow. Didn't even have a temporary driver's license.
I didn't know.
Wow. 1994. This day, 1972, Gaylord Perry won the AL Cy Young Award. I'd give you the trivia question of the last person to win the AL Cy Young, and you would say, don't overthink it.
Dude, I don't even remember. Oh, it wasn't Verlander, was it?
No, the last Guardian. I'm sorry, the last Cleveland pitcher to win a Cy Young.
Oh, Bieber,
correct. Because you would like to say, that is actually one thing that we've had. That's one thing. The Cy Young is the one thing that we've had. So you haven't really had to worry about that in history. A very happy birthday goes out to Nick Saban, the crime dog, Fred McGriff, former Indians outfielder, David DeLucci, name of the past, Ross Verba, Willow Smith, the late, great John Candy. Your favorite John Candy movie. Quick. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Never seen one.
What? I'm pulling the list up just so I don't miss one. So you've never seen Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
No, but
there are not many.
My dad always tells me how funny it is.
Oh, it's the best. Spaceballs, which is amazing.
Oh, I've seen Spaceballs.
Okay. Cool Runnings, Uncle Buck, which is maybe the answer. It's my wife's favorite. My personal favorite is The Great Outdoors with Dan Aykroyd. Oh, great. And then do you know that you've seen Home Alone, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you know how he's Gus Polinski, Polka King of the Midwest. Do you know that he was only on set for one day and paid $50 as a favor to John Hughes for doing that? And uncredited cameo there from John Candy. So the late, great John Candy, a birthday today. And Rob Schneider.
Oh, Rob Schneider.
I mean, he's done all, he's just the crazy guy in all the Adam Sandler movies.
Yeah, literally.
He tried, what was that, The Animal and Deuce Bigelow.
Have you seen the South Park with Rob Schneider?
No.
You can watch it. It's funny, but they always just go back and he's starring in the most absurd movie titles because he's the most random actor ever.
Here's the thing: you know who Rob Schneider is, but you would never say oh yeah, that Rob Schneider movie.
Yeah.
Because all the movies that he made by himself. Am I missing one? Let me pull up Rob Schneider filmography. Oh, The Hot Chick. I forgot. About
yeah,
that
that's
one.
the one I had.
That's bad. That's bad. Do you know his daughter is Elle King?
I did know that, actually.
The musical art?
I did know that.
Oh, he was in Demolition Man. That's a good one. Oh, speaking of Home Alone, he was the creepy bell guy in Home Alone. The second one, remember?
Was he?
Cedric, yes.
Is that the one with Donald Trump made a cameo?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Of course, Tim Curry as well. So this is Rob Schneider filmography quick. Demolition Man, good flick. Oh, have you ever seen Down Periscope with Kelsey Grammer?
I have not.
Good movie. There's not too many submarine movies like The Hunt for Red October, but down Periscope's pretty good. So then we get into the Adam Sandlers. The Townie in The Waterboy, the delivery guy in Big Daddy, the Townie in Little Nicky, and then he made a cameo in Mr. Deeds. He was multiple voices in 8 Crazy Nights. Then he was in 50 First Dates. And then like kind of all the, they did Grandma's Boy, which was like a shoot-off that was not very good. He was in The Longest Yard with Adam Sandler. I'm not trying to crap on Rob Schneider, but I'm just, not much. Not much outside of the, I guess, early in his career, fine. Like, yeah, the hot chick, not good. The Animal, really bad. Deuce Bigelow's fine, I guess, if you want to stretch it and say there. So very happy. Here I'm crapping on Rob Schneider on his birthday. Happy
you know what
birthday
I
to Rob
just
Schneider.
found out like a week ago, Matt?
What's that?
This is going to be bad because you're going to be like facepalm, but I didn't know The Longest Yard was a remake. I didn't know I thought it was just that movie.
Do you get the Burt Reynolds connection now that he's in it with Ace? Okay, just making sure. Because as much as, so like when they remade The Longest Yard, I'm not going to yell at you about that. That's fine.
Thanks,
it's okay.
Thanks, man.
So when they remade The Longest Yard, there was all, not even Chris, but again, you had Goldberg, you had Bill Romanowski, you had Stone Cold Steve Austin. You're like, oh my God, look at all these stars, Kevin Nash. Go back to the original one. And you had Ray Nitschke was in that one. I want to just make sure I'm pulling it up here. So obviously in that one, Burt Reynolds is Paul Wrecking Crew. But you had Richard Kiel as Samson. You had Ray Nitschke. Like they built up these, like they had stars in that movie the same. Now, wait, have you seen the original one?
No, I have not.
Do you want me to ruin part of the movie for you?
Yeah, go for it.
So do you know when they blow up Caretaker, right?
Yeah.
When he goes in. Do you notice that in the first one, there's a pause when he turns the radio on and then he pulls the light handle and then it blows up? Do you want to know why? Because in the original one, he blows up when he turns the radio. So everybody paused.
Oh, I see.
Because they thought the radio was going to be like the original, where when he turns the radio, he, it happens. And because there's a pause. So next time you watch the 05 remake of The Longest Yard, watch it. Wait, is it the light or the... Oh, my God. Now I'm confused. I can't remember. Anyway. No. It's the light handle. No, he pulls the chain on the light because that was what in the original one, he pulls the light handle. And there's a pause because that's how he died in the first one. And then he turns the radio on and blows up. That's what it is.
Gotcha.
So the next time you watch it, he pulls the chain on the light and there's a pause because there's a dramatic pause because if you've seen the first one, that is how they killed Caretaker in the first one. In this one, it's when he turns the radio. Other way around. But still stands hold there on The Longest Yard. Really just, I can make 3 for you here in time up for pop culture, if you will.
Let's do it.
All right, first one, a television show debuted this day in 2010. It's become one of the biggest television franchises in history. There are spin-offs left and right. And to survive, all you have to do is walk an above-average pace. So survival is the first key. You have to survive this television show. And then once to survive, you just have to walk at an above-average pace. And it spawned a massive franchise. People say that this actually revitalized this entire genre of film and television. It's a hard one.
I don't know if I'm going to get this, man. Walking at an above
I don't
average
watch
pace?
it, but Daryl Dixon.
Oh, okay. The Walking
Dead is correct.
Yeah. Now that makes sense.
Now, as long as you can kind of apply it back to what I was saying.
Yeah.
So people say it revitalized the zombie craze of all the movies and TV shows that have come out. And yeah, how many freaking spinoffs are
Oh,
there?
there's a
There's
ton.
1,000.
Now Daryl's has his own show.
I know. That's why I said Daryl. That's all I know. I don't watch the show. I never did.
Neither did I.
And it's tough because, like, you know, it's the age-old question where people always go, hey, my wife and I need a show to watch. What should I? And people kind of bring that up, but I feel like I've missed it. Game of Thrones, I feel like I missed it. Sopranos, I feel like I missed it. And especially now that I know how Game of Thrones and The Sopranos end, I'm kind of out on it.
I'm on season 4 of Game of Thrones.
We're
good.
We're not watching it. I mean, granted, the kids have a lot to do with it because we don't have a moment's togetherness at all to watch anything. But like, we finished Ted Lasso. We're kind of waiting on Stranger Things, but now that's delayed with all the strike going on. We got nothing right now. And people always would bring up, The Soprano. Oh, we did kind of start Succession. Kind of got into it, but The Walking Dead, I'm out. I think I'm out.
Yeah.
All right, next up, this day, 1990. This, I don't know if the hint is going to help or not. But this is a Nickelodeon special. This is, like, when you talk about the 90s, this is one of the epic shows from Nickelodeon.
Okay.
They have remade the show back in 2022. It premiered last year for its 3rd season. I would tell you... All right. I'll read this off straight off the Wikipedia. It's revolved around a group of teenagers who refer to themselves as the Midnight Society. Every episode, at a secret location in the woods at night, one member would tell a scary story to the group. The actual story, rather than the telling, was then the episode that was displayed to the viewer, and the story was shown between the group's arrival at the site to their departure.
Is this an animated?
No, live action.
Oh, okay.
Live action. Ran for 5 seasons on Nickelodeon back in the day to now. And again, a revival, so to speak.
I don't think I'm going to get this one.
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Never even heard of it.
Really? Never even heard of it?
No.
Huh. Yeah. Well, 1990. This day, 1990. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Debuted. And then your final one. This is a pop culture. This is a song, but a very famous one that was released this day, 1975. And if I just said Wayne's World.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I Bohemian Rhapsody?
Bohemian Rhapsody is correct. I
was
gave
like,
you a second there. Gave you a little second there. Scaramouche. Yes, Bohemian Rhapsody. This day, 1975. We have gone over every, like, completely off the rails on so many things, but there's one last thing I want to look up. I swear I just saw at auction the original scribbled lyrics for Bohemian Rhapsody. Yes, I found it. Okay, here. So some of Freddie Mercury's prized possessions went up for auction in London back in September. A grand piano that he owned went for $2.1 million. Another high-ticket item was the handwritten lyrics for Bohemian Rhapsody, which Freddie Mercury signed, sold for $1.7 million. That seems low to me. I don't have 1.7 to spend on it, Ryan, but I think that's a little low.
I was expecting to go more than the piano.
That's what I thought, too.
Yeah.
The song was originally titled Mongolian Rhapsody, but it was altered Bohemian Rhapsody after the draft of the song. Other items included a crown and cloak set that sold for $791,000, a few guitars, and some Artie suits that he had, notebooks with handwritten lyrics, and a pair of Mercury's signature Adidas high-top sneakers. All went for sale. I'm looking at the picture of it. Yeah, I mean, it's legit. It's Freddie Mercury sitting down to come up with Bohemian Rhapsody, and he signed it. $1.7 million. I feel like it would have gone for more. Well, hopefully for that auctioneer person, it will go for more. And maybe, Ryan, this show takes off the way we need it to, and we'll be bidding on that one day. We'll get to our bets with Tipico. We'll get to our bracket in just a second. But to kind of wrap up on where we're at with the Browns, I haven't seen anything yet. They haven't made a move. I want to stick to my guns. I want to stick to my guns and feel like the Browns are not going to make a move today. But let me ask you, Ryan, have you changed at all as we've gone on with the show, as we've discussed it? Our fan poll is up. People want the trade. They want the Browns to do something. And then reading Mary Kay's article where she makes a lot of great points about why Josh Dobbs or Jacoby Brissett would make sense for this team. Have you changed at all your feelings about the Browns approaching the trade deadline?
If we can get Dobbs for that 5th, yeah, I would do it. But in terms of, am I sitting here itching for a trade? No, and that's based on the knowledge that I have that Deshaun Watson's injury is almost healed. But that's a whole different story if it comes out. And who knows even if the Browns and Deshaun know that answer. But, yeah, I mean, if he's out for multiple more weeks, then we got to do something.
Yeah. Our other 2 for Tuesday, are you a fan of pumpkin spice? 50-50 right now. I voted yes. Of course I'm in on it. Brian? You said no, right?
I said yes.
Okay. Just on other stuff, right? You're not a big pumpkin coffee kind of guy.
Right.
But I'm basic. I don't know what to tell you. I love it. This is not pumpkin spice this morning. Or is it? Maybe it is. So very good. Let's get to our bets with Tipico. Cavs are in action tonight. It is a 3-point spread for the home Cavaliers. This obviously will depend a lot on Donovan Mitchell's health. I'm assuming Mitchell is going to play. I already on Tipico took the Cavs on the money line for tonight because I want to see them win. I don't want to lose to the Knicks again. Knicks are the better team, but okay. I'm placing this bet not necessarily on my gut, like on my real betting prowess, but it's more of my gut. It opened at 1 as the Cavs being the favorite. It's already flipped to 3 for the Knicks, mostly because of the injury side of things. Cavs are, I'm sorry. How about this? The New York Knicks are 7-1 against the spread in their last 8 games against the Cavs, and that includes 7-1 straight up in their last 8 games against the Cavs. New York is only 1-4 straight up on their last 5 games on the road, but New York is 7-3 in their last 10 games when playing in Cleveland. Under seems to be the play for tonight on the Knicks side of things. For the Cavs, dude, they have not covered yet this season. They are 0-6 against the spread their last 6 games. They are 1-7 against the spread their last 8. And as we mentioned, struggles at home. They're only 3-7 against the spread their last 10 games when they play the Knicks at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. I'll take the Cavs tonight on blind faith. I don't know. That's just kind of how I feel. Ryan, your selection for tonight, 3.5 on the side of the Knicks. Your over-under is set at 214.5. That's not low. It's not high. With the injuries, I might take the under, but I'll take the Cavs on the money line. Your selection tonight, please.
I like the under pick. I'm not going to take the Cavs to win, but I'll take them to cover.
All right. Baseball tonight, game 5 tonight, right? Let me get your odds on Tipico real quick on that. Get you some boosts. Oh, let me see what do you know what the Cavs boosts are for tonight? I should look up the boost.
Do a quick look.
Because if you can get Cavs Knicks boost. Oh, they don't have one up yet. They don't have them up yet. So we'll wait. Oh, no. Cavs money line and Donovan Mitchell to score 25. That's boosted to 185. I'll put a 10 spot on that.
Yeah, if the Cavs are going to win, they'll probably need that.
I like that. I'll take that on 10 spot. I actually like that better because if they're going to win, they're going to need them to score 25. NBA parlay for tonight. Cavs to beat the Knicks, Clippers to beat the Magic, and the Suns to beat the Spurs. 373. God, am I spending money right now on Tipico? Yes. I got a lot of money right on the Cavs tonight. Get it done. Big play 150, folks. Get signed up. Use that Tipico app. They got all the spread. I love dude, I am hooked on the boost. I need to stop with the boost.
They're just
tonight,
too good.
Julius Randle, 20. Donovan Mitchell, 30 and over 214, plus 535 for the Cavs and Knicks. Good Lord. Huh. All right, I'm staying away from it. I put enough down. Rangers, Diamondbacks. Rangers are the favorite really, it's a pick 'em at -108. The Rangers are the 1.5 run favorite there. You got a bet for tonight?
I would just honestly, though, it's been super weird back and forth. So I'll just take Diamondbacks.
I think I'm gonna take the Diamondbacks tonight, which tells you to go ahead and take the Rangers because I am the kiss of death. Great stuff on the show today on a 2 for Tuesday. I'll be interested to see final gut feeling right now. Ryan, make your prediction for the day. The Browns will or will not make a trade.
I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say no, too. I need to stick to my guns. As much as I felt that this morning doing the show, I kind of wavered a little bit. I think Mary Kay's article brings up a lot of good points. I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to say no. I don't think the Browns make a move. So we'll see. We have until 4 o'clock. So we'll have Chico 12-2. Can I from a little guest that Chico might have coming up today? He's got a special guest. Just stay tuned from 12-2 so that comes up. But before we get out of here, Ryan, our bracket of the week.
Let's
Your
take a
favorite
look.
Streaming services. So we'll only do 2 groups. So imagine groups 1 and 4 are one, and then 3 and 4 are the other. Your favorite streaming service. So they're all there. Prime, HBO Max, Peacock, Hulu, Paramount, all of it. Vote at Matt Fontana Show. HBO Max is my favorite. We'll talk about this more tomorrow's show. But I cannot, like, it's a powerful thing when the streaming service, they know you, they have you, and you'll spend money on it no matter. That is HBO Max. Yeah. We have Peacock, we have Apple Plus, our Apple TV. They're all great. I don't think I can live without HBO Max.
Yeah, I agree. As a big movie guy, especially, HBO Max is definitely my top choice.
All right, so Group 1's going to go tonight. So we will do Netflix, Prime, HBO Max, and Peacock all tonight. Top 2 do advance, though. Yep. Top 2 do advance. So we'll send that out at Matt Fontana Show. Vote there. Drop us a follow. You can always catch our show there. And it'll remain to be seen. Tomorrow, I think it'll be a big day. If we get an update, if they get a trade, Brian and I are both saying no. So we'll see how it plays out. Enjoy the hell out of Halloween. Stay safe out there tonight. Watch the kids. Drive slow. Enjoy the candy. Get those. Oh, dude, I miss the pillowcases. I throw it under my bed. I'd be eating candy for 6 months after that. Enjoy the hell out of it tonight. Stay safe out there. And we'll talk to everybody on a Wednesday edition of the Matt Fontana Show right here on Big Play. For Ryan Tyler, I am Matt Fontana. And as always, take it easy.